Hi, I'm Fred from Homewidence, and welcome to one of those impromptu video where I haven't written anything, so that's going to be a bit of a mess, but bear with me. And the idea of this video is for me to unbox the package that I received from my Wargame Santa from BGG, talk to you a bit about this initiative, and also giving you a bit of a channel update. So here we are. I received a package from my Secret Santa, so the concept is pretty straightforward. And if you've followed the channel, you might have seen me unboxing one of those in 2019. I couldn't do it in 2020 because I was in the middle of a move. But the idea is that there is this group on BGG that organize a Secret Santa system where you get a secret target and you get a Secret Santa. And you have to find some gifts for your target that you ship to them, and you get gifts from someone else. So it's a bit of a, funnier way to get some games. I would say it's a bit more unpredictable, and I think it's actually quite fun. I think it's a great initiative, and I would definitely recommend for you to join it. It's always a lot of fun. This year I got as a target a guy called Mike living in Oklahoma, which compared to the previous years made my life way easier by having a very cleaned up wish list that I could pick from. And what I did is I went on Noble Knight's website and ordered for him a couple of games. One of them was Thunder of the Ozarks from Revolution Games. It looks like this person was really into the American Civil War, and I think Revolution Games make really great games, and I found that they had box version of it, which I think is always awesome. And then I also picked for him an expansion for Wing Leader, so the Victories 4042. I always think that for Secret Santa it's nice to send an expansion, because it means that it's definitely something that should hit the table, because it means that the person is really into the system. So that's the gift that I offered to Mike. So Merry Christmas to him if he sees this video. I hope that he'll be happy with his gifts. And here for my Secret Santa, what I got is actually, from what I've heard, because my Secret Santa sent me a couple of messages ahead of time, is actually 3 games. So now what I would do is I will unbox them. I think this year has been my great unboxing year on the channel. So I will unbox them one after the other, and while I do that, I would give you a bit of channel updates. So let's jump into it, and let's look at gift number 1. Oh, and that's very nice. I think that my Secret Santa was very, as I say, attentionné. I don't know how you say that in English, but very nice, because he actually made some packages, so that's actually extremely cool. Oh, wait a minute, that's number 3. So wait a minute, I'm gonna park this one on the side. Let's go for number 1. Oh, that's number 2, pretty massive. Oh my god, that's extremely heavy. I'm trying to not break everything apart over there. And here is number 1. Very considerate, very well packed, so that's super nice. My Secret Santa seemed like he was a really fun guy, and he asked me some questions ahead of time, asking if I was okay with a used game, and I'm very much in favor of used game. I think that finding a good home for a game is even better than buying a new one. So let's check at gift number 1, and you know what? I'm gonna go a bit crazy. It's a bit Christmassy. I'm gonna not cut it cleanly, but actually tear it down. Oh. And this is an excellent surprise, I must say. I'm very excited about this. Some of you might already recognize this game. This is Martin Wallace's A Few Acres of Snow. That's actually quite funny that I received this right now. It's actually something that I was considering buying, but didn't buy because I thought, wait a minute, maybe I should wait and see what my Secret Santa is sending me, because that might actually be one of those. And it's weird because I've been wanting to buy this game for a while, so I've been looking into it quite a lot of time, but I didn't realize how beautiful the cover was. And the reason why it's funny is that I've been playing with James from Cardboard Emperor a game called Hands in the Sea quite lately, and I posted it on Twitter, and and David Thompson reached out and answered and asked me if I had played The Few Acres of Snow and if I preferred it to this one. And actually, I've never played it, so I played Hands in the Sea, which I think is amazing, and I think that David's game Europe Divided also borrows some of the same ideas, this idea of deck building based on the localization that you control, and I think it's extremely interesting, and I always wanted to play it, but never took the time or got the opportunity to find a used copy of it, because of course it's out of print. So very excited for this one. That's an excellent pick, and I'm super happy to finally have it in my collection. And I guess you maybe will hear about it soon on the channel. Who knows? But that's amazing first pick, A Few Acres of Snow. So that was for gift number 1. But before going into gift number 2, I want to talk a bit about this year, 2021, how things went specifically on the channel. I think it was, in a lot of ways, my most successful year on YouTube. We reached 2,000 subscribers quite fast compared to previous years. So we had a lot of new subscribers coming in. I think we're at 2,300 right now, and maybe at the end of the year we might be pretty close from 2,500, 400s, maybe 500s. We'll see. But I think it's really going well. We also reached the 100,000 views milestone, which might sound extremely small for a lot of channels, but I think for wargaming it's quite nice, especially knowing the limited amount of videos that I'm pushing on that channel. So I wanted to thank everyone for subscribing and for watching my show, but also sharing it with the rest of the world. So that was pretty cool. And also I had some awesome guests, and I think that's one of the things that I was the most amazed by this year, is that each person that I reached out to always said yes, was very enthusiastic about the prospect of being on the show, which I think is really nice. Like, I really feel like we're in a pretty cool community. It's the designers are easy to reach out to, the artists, anyone actually in this business is pretty great. My biggest surprise, as I said on Twitter, was the fact that Rodney from What She Played said yes, which I think it was probably hesitant in the first place, but in the end we ended up having a lot of fun. So that was actually a great year compared to other years where I always had doubts about the fact that I wanted to continue. I think for this year, it's probably the only year where I don't have any doubts. I'm actually looking forward into 2022. I have a lot of ideas, and the fact that I move toward more live stream makes it so that the workload is a bit lighter and I'm a bit less stressed, and I feel a bit less bad for not pushing content outside, and I can keep a semi-regular content that makes the algorithm happy. So that's pretty cool. There is one thing that I've been considering, and that's maybe setting up a Patreon. And the idea for that is that I'm using a streaming software to actually be pushing that content. And that streaming software comes with a price. It's not super expensive, and for now I've been paying it, but it's pretty limited in the options that I have and the quality that I can push when I'm doing streaming. And I've been thinking that maybe I should go to the pro version so I could actually stream in HD. It's just that the price is a bit, it's not like, it's not too much, but it's like $50 a month, and that's actually a pretty decent price for something that, yes, of course it's only a hobby and everything, but also buy games on the side. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could put yourself to contribution if you wanted to support the show and have better than potato quality when I'm doing the live stream. So considering this, but we'll see about that. But anyway, looking forward to 2022. It's been an exciting year, and for one of the first time in this channel's history, I'm actually pretty optimistic about the future. But let's look at this game number 2, which is quite interesting, and I'm gonna make a guess from the shape of it and the size of it. It looks like a coin game, which is weird because I don't know if there is a coin game that I don't have, and the sound of it doesn't sound like a coin game. So we'll see about that. Let's look into this. Oh, again, no knife. I'm gonna tear it up. Oh no, it's not a coin game. Oh, yes. Okay, I know what it is. Oh, that's great. That's extremely cool. I didn't expect that. I wasn't even sure that it was in my wish list, actually. Something that I've been considering for a while, so maybe it was on my wish list. And if it wasn't, it's a very clever pick from from my Secret Santa. That's actually great. So that's an interesting one, which I actually. So I think it's a really interesting game. So that's Days of Ire on the Crisis in Budapest in 1956. Then with the sister game Knights of Fire. So those are two games that I was really interested in because they were those games that are really classical board games, you could say, especially Days of Ire. So classical board games with a strong historical element, with some CDG-like mechanics in a simplified setup, which I thought was extremely interesting. And of course, as you know from maybe some of my design work, is something that I'm interested in looking towards or working on, because I think there is definitely a great vector here, like the board game industry is booming, and I think it can be a great opportunity actually to talk about difficult topics, to talk about history, to talk about politics. And I'm always interested to see those initiatives, especially coming from non-wargame designers. So that's really great. And this is the sister game that is by someone that we know in the wargame community and that you've seen on that channel, Brian Train. And there is David Turksi here, which I guess is probably working on a solo mode because this is what he's really known for. And this looks like maybe a simplified version with blocks of another game that was released by Brian Train called Operation Whirlwind in his Folio series, a series of game about asymmetric coin conflict, not using the coin system, but actually using different set of things. But here I can see there are cards, a bit of a simplified map, but it does share some similarities. So extremely interested in seeing how this plays, and also interested in seeing how Brian Train approaches making, you could say, a board historical game for a wider audience. So that's really, really exciting. Really looking forward to play this. And I'm happy also because I know those are games that I could play with people that I wouldn't play necessarily wargame with. So that's actually really awesome. Excellent pick. So that was gift number 2. Now, before going into gift number 3, I would like to talk a bit about what's coming up on the channel, what kind of content you can expect. Well, first of all, I think the live stream format is something that works really well for me. So I will do that. Maybe some of those live stream would be not live stream, but recorded in the condition of a live stream and then slightly edited and pushed online. But you can expect more game demos because I like those a lot, especially with the game designers themselves coming up and talking about their games. I think that's super exciting. I always find that it's sparkling interesting conversations. So this format will definitely stay. And I would say that maybe one of the things that will change is that I would like for 2022 to open up to even more European designers and European companies. I think it's going to be a very Spanish year, 2022. You'll see about that, but I already have a few plans. And I think that probably maybe more Spanish people will come, but I will try to open it up to more European content, just to make that scene more visible to the rest of the community. I will probably try to do another attempt at Wargame Ethics. The first one was a very interesting discussion. I think some of the reactions online were a bit weird, honestly, on BGG, but that's just the way it is. But I would like to try it again. I think there are interesting topics to explore, and I don't want to give up on this one. And then I'm thinking about going back, maybe not necessarily to review, but more in-depth analysis. And I've had this idea for quite a while to take a specific moment in history and look at how it has been portrayed in different games in different ways and see how the game approach says different things about the historical event. So I'm thinking about the Gallic Wars, and then the other one that I have been wanting to do for quite a while now, and that's Waterloo. Because I think that it is a really interesting even to approach from a wargame perspective, because it has been approached from so many different angles. Not that as you might know, I'm not passionate about Waterloo as an event, but I think that a gaming topic is actually quite interesting. So that's something that will come up. Before the end of the year, I should be able to push a few videos. We should have a Levian campaign panel with some of the Levian campaign designers to talk a bit about the series, its state and its future. There is something that I'm preparing. I hope we can do it before the end of the year about wargaming in the military with different perspective in the US and in Europe. So that's something that I'm pretty excited about. And then I should have a last teach and play of the year. If we manage to do it before the end of the year, we'll see about that. Keeping my fingers crossed. But that's going to be with Carl Paradis for Absolute War. Absolute War is here, waiting for that video to be recorded. So that's the plan. And maybe in 2022, more content in French. I'm not sure. We'll see about that, but I've been thinking about it for a while because it's something also that I think would be interesting to have different languages available on the channel and talking to my fellow countrymen. That would be nice. But let's look into let's look into gift number 3. Lighter. From the sound, I actually have absolutely no idea what it could be. So that's gonna be interesting. This one I started with a knife. Maybe I could finish with a knife. Oh no, it's too boring with a knife. Oh, okay. I see what it is. So that's a small add-on to the previous package. So that's for plastic figurines for the 2 previous games. So for Nights of Fire and Days of Fire with some extra cards. So actually I have the full package for that right now. So that's actually quite interesting. I had even no idea that this existed. So that's quite interesting. Looks like there are scenario cards and additional leader components. So I didn't knew about it, so I will look into it. Actually quite curious about that, and we'll see how it plays. But super excited to have this, especially for the Christmas period, because I think it's definitely one of those games that I could play with the family. So excellent selection. So as a reminder, the expansion for Nights of Fire, Days of Fire. So that was you could say first part of the gift in a way, and then a few Acres of Snow. So super happy about this one also. So that's really, really great, completing my collection. So that is awesome. Thank you very much, Secret Santa. And now to conclude. Let's conclude on talking maybe a tiny bit about game design. So as some of you might know, Red Flag Over Paris is shipping soon. A Jest of Robin Hood the design is finished and we're discussing about final art right now. And coming up next. What's coming up next? I've been working with my friend Brian Asklev Hansen on Napoleon 1870, which I won't say much about, but it's a CDG about the first couple of weeks in the Franco-Prussian War. A pretty accessible, card-driven operational war game. This one is pretty well advanced. Brian is extremely efficient and an awesome designer, so of course it moved along pretty fast. I'm actually the one being the bottleneck. I have a few things that I'm a bit late on that I need to finish, but I think that this one will start playtest soon, and we'll see when it can be released and if the publisher is happy with it. I'm having some discussions for future projects, but nothing has been defined yet. Nothing is sure, but it's definitely something that I'm thinking about. And then, of course, GMT is home. So I'm thinking about potentially a future P500 game. It's just that I have no clear decision or ideas on what that should be. Actually, I have a lot of ideas, but what should be the next one, I'm not sure. So it's a bit on hold for now. I'm actually having some discussions on this side to see what would make the most sense out of all the ideas that I have, depending on what I feel inspired by, but also what makes sense for GMT. But I feel like I would like to have a new P500 game with them. It's just such a treat to work with them. It's a company that I really like. I really enjoy working with them, and that would be the opportunity to working with and discussing with designers that I love working with. So it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. So we'll see about that. I also have a few non-wargame ideas that are very inspired by the city of London and its history. So we'll see if there is anything coming out of this. But the idea of making a more traditional board game inspired by history is definitely something that I would be interested in exploring. Maybe one last thing, I wanted to thank a couple of publishers that this year have been supporting this channel in a way or another, and I think that's great, and we definitely need that if we want to have a healthy ecosystem of content creators in wargames. GMT, and especially Rachel Billingsley at GMT, has been awesome. Like she's really supported me, sending me games, but also the other people at GMT like Jason put me in contact with designers and everything so I could make content. So getting that kind of support was amazing as a content creator. I started recently working with Phalanx. As you've seen, I've done a few things around Europe Divided. Also great team over there at Phalanx, very nice people too. So I think that's really great. I'm hoping to build those kind of relationship with other publishers. It looks like Spanish publishers are pretty open to that, and that's also really awesome. So you might see some content with Do It Games and Not War Games from Spain, and I think publishers need to realize how this is important for us, especially as amateur content creators. I don't want to be paid for the content that I do because I want to keep the freedom on what I want to talk about and how I want to talk about it. But getting support from the publisher is massive. Getting access to the games, getting access to the designers is helping making the content in a tremendous way. Unfortunately, there are quite a few publishers that absolutely don't even care about that, which I think is a bit weird and almost barely insulting, but that's just the way it is. But that doesn't matter. In the spirit of Christmas, I want to say Merry Christmas to the people at GMT and the people at Phalanx, and thanks for their support, and to my brothers in Spain that I'm looking forward to be working with them next year. So that's going to be really cool. And then maybe just a couple of things regarding next year and conventions. I will be present at a few conventions. One of them, if everything goes well with COVID, will be BeyotaCon, so in Spain, in Badajoz, end of January. Hopefully, I would like also to be at the International Game Festival in Cannes, late February. And then the convention I'm extremely excited about, that's Punched Con. Organized by Cardboard Emperors, so Punched, that has the name of the Cardboard Emperors Wargame online magazine, which is an amazing magazine with great articles. I think they should go on a paper format because it's so good what they're pushing out there. But anyway, they were doing a convention in London in May, so I'm really excited about this. And I must say that Cardboard Emperors has been one of the highlights for me of this year. Being able to have every Wednesday the opportunity to meet with other players in London and play war games face to face was really great. So that's pretty much it about the channel update and my Christmas games. Thank you again for supporting this channel. Thank you for everything. I don't know, nothing specific, but for being here. Thank you for being here. Have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holidays with your loved ones, and I'll see you soon, depending on when this video is released. Maybe next Sunday for a live stream, or next year if I release this for Christmas. So have fun and enjoy your war games.